everyone. Welcome to Black Foodie Week. I'm excited to be back in the kitchen, and this time I have my friend Chef Naza in the building.
Greetings, everyone.
This is going to be a really awesome demo. This is for everybody who loves good food. Whether you are plant-based or not, whether you're vegan or not, this is for you. But today we are all about amazing, flavorful, plant-based foods with Chef Naza. She is an amazing vegan chef out of Toronto and caterer. She's a cooking instructor. She does many other things in the food world. So we're blessed to have her here today, and she's going to be sharing a dish that she grew up on. So Chef Naza, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what you're making today?
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you so much to Black Foodie, Eden, I'm so grateful to have you all join us and invite us to come and share our knowledge, experience, and our delectable delights. So today we are going to be making one of my favorite dishes. Part of our childhood, we grew up in Sudan, in Khartoum, when we transitioned or moved from Eritrea to Sudan. So it's called Molokhia. It's similar to, the texture is similar to what West Africans would eat, as far as it kind of similar. There's a bit of sliminess. It's not the right word I'm looking for, but
slick.
It's slick. Yeah, it's so delicious though. It's fantastic for gut health. It's delicious for iron and vitamin D, vitamin E, all of the green nutrients. So I'm looking really forward to sharing that with you. It's a big favorite that we grew up eating in Sudan, but they also eat it in Eritrea and parts of Ethiopia. They may call it something different, but we only know it as Molokhia. So I'm looking really forward to sharing this dish with you and the different variations. We're doing a plant-based version of this. It's traditionally made with meat, beef, and bamia, which is okra. It kind of mixed in together. So today we're going to do a plant-based one, and I'm going to let you know what you can substitute for some of the ingredients that we have at hand. So if you don't have any, don't worry, B will work equally as well.
I love this.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're already talking about substitution, so I know you're going to be giving us lots of tips, but can we start off with the ingredients? What should everybody have?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what we're going to do here for our Molokhia, our stew, we're going to use some lentils. These are green lentils, about 2 cups of green lentils, 1 cup of uncooked lentils. Once you cook it, makes about 2 to 2.5 cups. But you can also use chickpeas. You can use, you can use chickpeas. You can use kidney beans. You can use white beans, so you have choices what type of protein you'd like to add as far as the plant base. And then here, this is for our rice that we're going to be eating it with. But you have the option of eating it with injera, with pita, with quinoa, with sweet potatoes, whatever you like. But here I have some cinnamon sticks, right? So we have some anise, star anise. We have some bay leaves, we have some clove, and I believe cardamom. So just spicing up your rice. Doesn't have to be plain and simple. We also, for our stew, we have some tomato. I don't know if you can see that. Crushed tomatoes, marinara, tomato sauce, passata, whatever you like. I love cooking with red onions. We have some fresh garlic. We have berbere, the spice of life. We have some sea salt. We have some roasted cumin. We have some tomato paste. This is all for our stew. And then we also have some turmeric for our rice because we need to give it some color, some ambiance, some punch. And then we're using basmati rice. And then we have some green peppers. And we're just going to deck it up. Can't wait to get real down to this.
I love it. Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
Wonderful. So what we're going to do, so we're going to switch if you don't mind. Okay. So what we're going to start out with is making our rice because it doesn't take long to cook, but it's also because it's one of the most popular dishes we get asked a lot of questions about. How come my rice or how come my quinoa is always so soggy and it's overcooked? So I want to show them little quick tricks of how to do this. It's so simple. Basmati rice cooks really fast, especially if you soak it for about 10 to 15 minutes in cold water. Because what that does is it kind of drains some of the starchiness, some of that will make the ingredient that makes it kind of stick. You soak it, you drain it until your water comes out clear. So I have 2 cups of soaked basmati rice. You can use regular rice, you can use quinoa. But what we're going to do is for every cup of rice, we're going to use 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 cups of water. That's it. We do not want to overcook it. We're not trying to get God. Or fufu. Porridge, right? It all just sticks together. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get started here with our pan. Or with our
I love this tip. Okay, you know what? This is going to sound super basic, making rice, but a lot of folks trip up on rice. I'm gonna admit it, I have a rice cooker, and that's what saves me at the end of the day because, it does the job.
Yeah.
But when you're using your pot and you don't know how to measure it, she gave you a really good ratio and good tips. Wash your rice, folks. Wash it and then soak it in a little bit.
I know you see some of these TikTok and IG videos where people don't wash their stuff.
Yeah.
It's important to wash it. It's a chemistry. Cooking is a science. It's a chemistry. Yeah, you can freestyle a lot, but it's also important to have the proper combinations and that you treat the food accordingly or pre-treat it. In this case with rice, just soaking it. The flavor is better, the fluffiness is better, and you'll just enjoy it overall. But again, what I do want to emphasize on Eden and everyone that's watching is that I'm just giving you a little sample. But cooking is about adding your own flavor, your own personality, your own energy into the dish, into whatever you cook. Don't expect it to ever taste exactly like someone else's, because your energy is yours uniquely. No one else has that. So just remember, this is where you get to put your love in. This is my love language. Anyone that knows me, I will feed you until you blow up. But this is what we do. So I have some olive oil here. I'm just going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil. Okay. And then once it heats up, what we're going to do is add our spices. So our cinnamon sticks, 1 or 2 cinnamon. We're going to add some bay leaves. And I like, so Eden, if I can get you to just show everyone what that looks like.
I got it.
So they can see. You can add clove, cardamom. You can add, we're going to add some turmeric as well. You can add bell peppers. You can add anything that you want to your rice. I think it's the most forgiving. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of turmeric. See that? And then we're going to add black pepper because what activates turmeric is black pepper. The bioactives and ingredients is black pepper.
Interesting.
So you got to learn something today too. So we're going to add some black pepper. It doesn't hurt if you give it a little punch. You know what season we're in?
Yep.
So what we're going to do here is just mix it all together. And you have to be very careful that your heat is not too high. And you want your spices to cook briefly. This is going to go right up our nose. Okay, it's all good. You can see that.
It looks and smells so good,
Right?
folks.
The aroma is going to be off the hook. So then I add my soaked, washed rice. And what we're going to do is just stir it together. Okay. Now you can add onion and garlic. Usually I like to saute them beforehand. What I'll do now is just add it in now. So you could do that. Don't fret if you missed or if you forgot to add or to do one step before the other. You can improvise. So we're just going to do this for a couple of minutes. You're somewhat toasting it. And if you like things like nuts and seeds prior to putting in your rice, you can also toast those items with it. I know in the East, like in Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, we like to do nuts, we like to do seeds, but we also like to add raisins, right? And it gives the food so much flavor. And I know in other cultures they're like, raisins in rice? What kind of thing is that?
I love raisins. You know,
I love it,
exactly,
right?
yeah.
And it tastes so good. Exactly. And it's a great way to get your fruit intake in there. Yeah. You can add more turmeric if you like, and you'll notice after a little while, I like it super low. So you can add more. I'm just increasing.
This is like, I mean, do you use, is this kind of like a replacement for a bouillon cube? Like a lot of people do
right.
that.
In a lot of African cooking that they do, I don't use those. I kind of just make my own. You have the seasoning right in your home. Yeah. You can add, depending on the kind of flavors you'd like. So look at that. That's toasted. We're going to add a little bit of sea salt. We're going to need to add some later, just because we're going to add some water to that. So, and then let's get our water. I'm going to add the water. Now, if you don't have a measuring cup with you, not to worry, because I know most of us, I think, old schoolers grew up with our parents telling us, you just add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I know that's how I learned, to be quite honest. So you just want to cover your rice just enough. We're going to let it cook. We're going to cover it. Okay, and then we're going to move it just off to our other stove so we can get started in our stew. But this will take about 10 to 12 minutes, and then it's done. We turn it off, keep the lid on once all the water has been absorbed, evaporated, and then we'll fluff it up with a fork. You don't have to do anything else. My mother taught me the biggest skill, which was when you make rice, once you add the water to it, and you stir it once, do not stir it again.
Oh,
Because
okay.
then it starts to cake and it becomes too much movement. You have to allow it to do what it needs to do.
Got you. Okay.
Beautiful. So I'm just gonna move my water aside here.
Okay.
I'm gonna move our pot. Actually, Evan, do you mind if I ask? We can switch it. I can give you that pot.
Okay.
There you go. And I can say I can give you that one. Perfect. Wonderful. All right. Now, and we can put it on medium high. And once it pops up, then what we're going to do is just, again, bring the temperature to low or turn it off completely. Take it off the heat and let it sit. Now, perhaps when I mentioned the dish that we're making, I may have said it a little bit quicker with like this Arabic little accent. So I'm going to say it again. So it's called Molokhia. And in English, it's called jeweled mallow. To be quite honest, I've never heard of the term in English. But it's similar to callaloo, except that it's a little bit more slimier. However, it's excellent for gut health. It helps cleanse your system out. You enjoy it today, and then tomorrow you're thankful that you ate it today because it helps to keep you regular.
Okay.
Yep, it's packed with lots of iron. So I'm just going to bring it closer. And if I need to capture it, just so they can see. You can find it at some of the grocery stores. No Frills is really good at it, at carrying it. So in English, here's the spelling. Here we go. Excellent. So you can find it in the grocery store. No Frills is where I found it before. You can find it in Middle Eastern or Somali shops. Very easily available. And it's frozen so that you can keep it in there and take it out whenever you need it. And to thaw it out, just put it in cold water and it easily thaws out. Okay. In addition to that, so we're going to move that aside. Let me move my couple of my seasonings out of the way. Okay. Wonderful. And now we're going to move on to our stew. So we have our pot or pan is somewhat warm. I think it's ready for us. Let me just make sure we have it in the right spot. Okay. Again, you can use, we're going to use olive oil because it adds lots of flavor. But you can add other types of oils if you like, or you can omit oil altogether for those of you who are watching your cholesterol and you have heart health issues. You could just saute your onions and your garlic in a little bit of warm water. And as I say that, it's important to always have boiling water or warm water ready when you're cooking, because it's important to be able to add, if you need to, the proper temperature to your dish as opposed to adding cold water, because that will bring the heat, right, the temperature of your dish completely down, and then you have to heat it again, right? And that takes away exactly from the cooking experience. So we're going to do 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil or oil of choice. Okay. And here we will saute. I have some red onions. I love red onions. Grew up eating these.
It's a big part of the culture. I used to beg my mom not to cook.
Right?
Oh, all of us.
Yeah. All the Eritrean and Ethiopian youths were like, please, no more onions. We go to school smelling like onions.
It was in everything, your clothes, the hair, your backpack. Anything you had was flavored with that scent of onions and spices.
Exactly.
But it adds so much flavor, and now, like, as an adult, I appreciate it. I call it my perfume. It is what it is.
You know what? You're absolutely right. It's funny because my parents live a couple of hours away, so whenever we go to visit them, the first thing we all do, I know for me, I'm a fanatic. As soon as I walk in, I go upstairs to the room, take my luggage, take everything upstairs, hide it in the closet, close the doors, cover it so that I don't get home and smell like onions. Yet at the same time, we will eat all the food that was prepared.
Yes.
With the onions.
I'll still enjoy it, even if I put my jacket, especially the winter jacket. Oh man, you gotta hide that, put it in a plastic bag, put a towel on the door. Like it's because it's intense, but that intensity adds to the flavor.
Yeah.
And and the thing is, when you're back home, if you were in Astra or like outside, you're outdoors. You're not necessarily like in the same kind of closed kitchen space as we are here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they cook outside.
Yeah.
And then if I could just get you to just lower the temperature to a little bit lower, that's perfect. And we just have to keep an eye on it. We'll get our sous chef over there, Mr. B, to check out on that for us. So what I'm going to do is just, because we know that onions, although they're great for boosting your immunity, they retain a lot of water. So I like to add a little bit of sea salt, or you can add Himalayan sea salt if you like. While the onions are sauteing just until they become a bit translucent.
Okay.
For those who may not know, translucent just means clear. That's all. What that means is that we're absorbing, or we are taking all the liquid out of it. And once it sautés, then we would add the garlic. If we add the garlic in too soon, it will burn. And then we would lose the delicious flavor of it and we'll just get burnt taste, and that's not what we want. Here I've used 1 medium onion, red onion. Okay. Okay. I think we can add, I have about 2 large cloves of garlic. Minced.
These are some of the essentials in East African cooking. You need to have your
Lots of
onions,
onion.
your garlic, your tomato,
Yeah, absolutely.
then your spices.
Of course. Absolutely. So we're just going to saute that for a moment.
Okay. What got you in the kitchen? What inspired you to choose this lifestyle and also to cook it for other people?
You know what's interesting? It's my mom. I'm the eldest girl, and I am child number 3. So I have 2 brothers older than I, and then my sister and I, and then 2 younger brothers.
Mhm.
So being the youngest girl, you learn how to cook.
Yeah.
And be basically mama number 2.
Yep.
You're learning everything from your mom because in our culture and in many cultures, it prepares you for when you become someone's wife. But it also prepares you for when you are ready to do what you need to do in life. And so I watched my mom cook. I cooked with her. She taught me how to cook. She's just amazing chef, and she was so young. She was 26 when she had all 6 of us.
Wow.
And she was
Okay.
She was 16 with her first child. Married at 50. So,
Yeah.
you know, just to kind of show you the culture extends beyond, and part of it is passing on the lineage to your daughters.
Yeah.
And I've loved food ever since. The fact that I went plant-based was crazy for my family.
So-
I'm fine with it in the beginning.
What did they say when you first said, I'm not going to eat this siga, there's no, no door, like,
So-
there's a lot of dishes, especially like in Eritrean and Ethiopian food, that are stews with meat.
With me.
Yeah.
So I remember coming home when I decided, it was 99 that I decided no more meat, like not doing this, right? And I came to visit with a friend, and we said, Mom, that was my brother's wedding actually, and my grandmothers were here visiting for the first time, and we went, my friend and I. And so I was telling my mom, and she said, oh, I made the dinner for you, come and eat. She said, wicked chef. And so when we went to eat, I said, oh, Mama, this has meat, you don't eat meat. Like my friend, at the time I wasn't fully plant-based yet, but my friend was. So I said, no, he doesn't eat meat. And my mom said, Dahan, it's okay. We'll just take the meat out, give him the gravy.
Yeah.
And I know many of you have experienced that. You know what I'm talking about? But they mean no harm, it's just they didn't know. And they don't know. So, what's wrong?
You gotta say that louder for the folks.
Right?
This is a very common thing where, they'll just take it out the dish.
Yeah.
I don't think they're thinking about like the whole process or the fact that an animal
Exactly.
was killed,
Exactly. And I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
You're like, you know that the meat is still there, the gravy is still there, like the fat is still there. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Why not? What's wrong with you? Are you sick? Are you okay? What aren't you telling us?
Yeah.
But now, 20 some odd years later, and raising both of my sons vegan from birth, it was like,
Wow.
yeah, in our culture, I think in the Habesha culture, it was just this strange thing. Who are you? Why are you depriving your children?
Yeah.
But as years went on, I have to be honest in saying, my family is very much, can you make that dish? You had that other dish, what was it? And now as we're becoming more aware and more present about our health and well-being, we're realizing that consuming too much meat, especially the meat that's available now, is actually not well for us at all, on any level. Because it's not organic or natural like it used to be. But I allow people to, people do what they do. You have to respect that. But over the years, I have to tell you, especially during Tzom, which is fasting season, yeah. Oh, it's heavy. My brother's wedding, I think we did like 300 people that catered vegan, and we had 700 people at his wedding.
Wow.
I did 300 vegan, and we did 400 meat.
Wow.
And I wouldn't allow. It was not very nice in the kitchen because I just would not allow anyone to come across contaminated. And the aunties were like, back home we do it this, and I was like, no, that's not what we're doing. But anyhow, let me come back here. But so our onions and our garlic are ready. I'm going to do a huge heaping tablespoon.
Big spoon. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys
Yeah.
this because
1 to 2 tablespoons.
a lot.
Yeah. But again, you get to change it according to what you like. We like a bit of spice in our food. And remember, every berbere is also different, some spicier than others, and different regions add different seasonings to it. So don't expect all berbere to be the same.
That's so true. Can you tell people a little bit about berbere? So this is very much a big part of East African cooking.
Absolutely. So let me just quickly show you here.
Okay.
Because we don't want the berbere, it's like cooking curry. In our Caribbean people, especially Jamaicans, like to cook their curry first. Yeah. Right? This way. So what you're doing here, and maybe, I guess I should have given you one to open a window or something.
Yeah. It's okay, we're gonna get all these flavors,
right?
Yeah.
So add a little bit of water because we don't want it to burn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, as I mentioned earlier, it's important to have that hot water. Exactly. So we're just gonna let
This
this
smells like my house,
right?
Yeah, like for real. I feel like I went back to my grandma's house in this moment right now.
Yeah.
That berbere cooking.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So we're gonna give it about a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Just gonna let it sizzle for a moment.
That's the other thing. I think when people are looking at berbere, they might treat it as like a different, like a Western spice. But this is something that is like, it's a key ingredient, so you need a little bit more than your typical just little dab.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But dab is also okay. Sometimes people like to add more on top
Yes.
in addition to. You mean, and then if they can just turn that off and take it off the heat, that would be great. Just check it for me a little bit. We're just checking on our rice. That was fast. Yeah. Basmati rice cooks really fast. So just keep an eye on it. You don't want it to overcook, and you also you don't want it to be really sticky. It's not sticky rice. Yeah. All right.
Do you want me to keep the lid on?
No, yeah, we can leave the lid on. Okay. So we're good here. All right. You want to capture this one here? You'll see. It
starts to evaporate.
Exactly. Don't worry about that. We've cooked it long enough.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear somebody in the corner coughing over here.
Yeah. The spice will get you right now. You gotta have it
fresh
tolerance.
All right. So then I'm doing some crushed tomatoes because I'm doubling up my recipe. And I like to double my recipe because I'm thinking about tomorrow, later. We're busy. We don't want to be cooking every day.
A big thing too was a lot of these stews, I was saying it yesterday, is they taste better the next day.
Do they ever? Because all the flavors have had an opportunity to merge and marry and just join each other, as I like to say. It had time to be friend. So we're just going to stir this. And then I'm going to just close it.
The spices are getting to me too now.
Right in my throat.
Just a
You see
little
that?
bit.
Excuse us, folks.
Yeah.
But this is real.
This is the real deal, you know what I'm saying?
I'm so sorry.
No worries. You guys, we got it. This reminds me of like back home because when they're cooking like the different stews and stuff for a wedding, whatever, it's always outside and it's like charcoal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even though it's intense, you got a little bit of like the gift of fresh air, you know, because you're outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the culture is our culture, honestly, and I think as many cultures, is just so rich when you try to do things as closer and as authentic to its roots as possible. And so, when I was invited to do this, and I thought, okay, like Eritrean dish, and I'm thinking, you know what? Because we have some cross collaborations, like food, fava beans. I know you guys have seen Eden put that on the show. We put it on our IG as well. Food, fava bean, it's like a Sudanese, but it's also different parts of the Middle East they use it. But everyone can call it their own because each region adds something different to it to make it a little different. My children I grew up taking food and feta sandwiches to school when I was in Sudan. My children have taken food many times to school, full sandwiches, here in Canada, in Toronto, just as they have in Jeddah Fit. In their thermos, and people are like, oh, what is that? In Jeddah, you've been Jeddah for lunch? You gotta keep the traditions.
Oh, that's a cool mom right there.
Okay.
I would beg my mom not to give me injera and stuff for lunch because, you know what I mean, we didn't want it, but now things are different. I think there's a new appreciation. Yeah.
You do. As you get older, I think it's part of life and it's natural. That way you didn't like it growing up that you kind of resented later on in life. You realize and you appreciate it more because it's a connection to your roots. It's part of who you are. It's part of your DNA and your identity as an individual. And then kind of encompassing all of that within the environments that we're in Canada and all the different places around the world. It's so important to hold on to our cultures, and food is such a monumental part of that. We eat together in our culture. culture.
Yeah.
We sit and eat from one big plate. It's an appreciation of one another, of the love, the connection, and also you get to touch base. There's nothing better than food that's cooked
With your hands.
with your hands.
You
It's
eat
the
it with your
same.
hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing that feels better when you have your socks off and you're feeling the earth beneath you. It's the same thing,
Mhm.
top bottom. But okay, so what I wanted to say about this particular dish is, you don't want to rush it. Yet at the same time, if you're crushed or in a rush for time, you could do certain things in advance. So for example, these green lentils I've cooked beforehand.
Got you. Okay.
And what I do is I'll make a big batch of these, and I use them in so many different ways. I would use them in a shepherd's pie. I can use them in the stews. I can make them to eat another stew with injera, or I can do another type of stew with coconut milk and different types of flavors, like Asian-inspired flavors that I can eat with some rice. So, and we can make burgers and zucchini patties, so many different things. So, but once you make it once, and legumes like lentils are so cost effective, you get all the protein that you need, you get the fiber, you get the iron, and they just give you such a big boost. So here I have about 1.5 cups to 2 cups. You can add more or you could do less. I just wanted to give it a nice balance. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do now, I think our there we go. It's popping. That's when the bubble up. Ready. Yeah.
This is the good part.
There we go.
This is when you gotta be careful with your arms, you guys.
Absolutely. And lentils, especially red lentils or orange lentils, are known for burning people. So I just want to show you. This is our roasted cumin.
Okay.
Roasted cumin makes a huge, huge difference because I'm going to add some water to this. You can add it at this point, or you can add it later, or earlier, sorry, when we were sauteing the garlic and onion. We'll add some of that roasted cumin. Now, the difference between roasted cumin and just regular cumin is that there is more depth into the roasted cumin. So you can get fresh cumin seeds, put them on a dry pan, and then toast them. You got it. Ooh,
I got a little bird.
you have to be
It's part of the game.
Yeah, so I'm gonna close it up a bit. Okay. You can use tomato paste. We're gonna cook it for about a minute. You can use tomato paste prior to putting your tomatoes in, or you can omit. I had it here, but completely forgot to put it in. That's so exciting in the conversation.
That's part of the thing. Sometimes you just, dabble a little bit. Yeah.
Cooking is like that. And again, it's very forgiving, especially with plant-based cooking. In all honesty, it's very forgiving.
Yeah.
If you forget a step, you can always add it in later. Don't try your best not to fuss about it too much, but just enjoy the journey and the experience of exploring new spices, new ingredients, and adding a variety to your meals. Because then that will kind of help you to stay consistent and on point to whatever your health goals are. And plant-based for me, like I said, 23 years later, it gives me so much energy. And I just love it. I really do. I really do. And so, take a step at a time. Take a step at a time. And now with the internet,
You can find everything.
anything. I dig in sometimes just looking for a unique recipe, and then, as I like to say, I like to Nazify it. So I'll take stuff out and then add my own things and make it my own. But it's good that we can explore different ingredients and different recipes, especially here in Toronto, that reflects the communities that we're all from. And we have an amazing city that we live in, where you can go anywhere and get the spices that you need of that particular culture. You smell it?
I can. It smells so good.
Right? All right.
I love it. I'm like so excited, you guys. That's why I'm quiet. I'm just like,
We're
can't
gonna
wait
get
try
to
this.
eat it.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do now, actually, I'm gonna add the lentils.
Okay.
We'll add the lentils last because they're already cooked.
Okay.
We're gonna add the Molokhia. Now, there's a little thing I want to show you about the Molokhia, just texture-wise. See that?
Ooh.
Kind of has. And so when you add the okra, I can't remember for the life of me in this moment, but West Africa also has a similar dish.
Okay.
And Trinidadians also have Molokhia. It's the same. They eat it with crab, kuku, right?
Yeah.
Which is similar. It's almost identical to this. It has that
Sliminess.
lubrication,
Yeah.
so to speak. So this is really good if you're having a hard time with gut health, because it will help to cleanse and clear you out, and to help you kind of become more regular. Gut health is serious. This stuff nobody wants to talk about, but it's very serious and important.
That's actually something where we had a vegan panel yesterday.
Yeah. and I asked all of the panelists, like, what was like the big change for you? Like, what did you enjoy most about becoming plant-based or vegan?
Right.
And everybody had something to say about their energy, having a lot more energy. And then the other thing that they were talking about was one of them was like she became more regular. Like, you know, she just, the fact that a lot of people, they don't even recognize that they're having issues because they've become accustomed to having issues.
It's become the norm.
It's become the norm, exactly. And so when they go plant-based, they recognize that it doesn't have to be like this, you know?
Absolutely. It's actually one of the biggest compliments I get, and other people find it odd that I find that complimentary. And I said, yes, we had my mom, aunties, anyone who ever goes plant-based, even if for a week they do that, or even one meal, you'll notice the next day, oh my gosh, I can go to the bathroom now.
Yeah.
It's so important. What goes in must come out. We are actually supposed to go 3 times, literally almost after every meal. But if you go,
Oh, wow.
but if you go once a day, you can create your own regular schedule. So to speak. It's important to speak about these things because they're real. I know sometimes people don't want to talk about this topic, especially when you're cooking food or you're enjoying food, but it's serious.
Yeah.
If what you're putting in is not coming out, that's a problem. It's really important because then everything stays in your system and then you suffer. That's where ailments and diseases kick in because they thrive in a very acidic space, and that's what happens to food. Okay? So we have our Molokhia in, you see what I mean?
Got it, yeah. Oh, I see that texture.
Yeah. And so we're gonna add the lentils.
And for the lentils, is this something that's traditional or is this like a protein replacement?
So I do this as a protein replacement. Growing up, we used to eat it. They used to make it with either meat, so usually beef or lamb.
Got you.
And then beef or lamb. But then I started just doing my own variations when I went plant-based because this just to add the protein. You could eat it without the protein, absolutely. But you can add protein. You know, the legumes. So I kind of mix it around, and I love lentils. Oh yeah, you know how we do lentils.
Yes.
You have lentils are Mother Nature's gift to the planet. Honestly,
It's definitely so my favorite Habesha food is bersim, which is made with red lentils. Yes, and it's so simple, but it's so flavorful. And the thing too is it's so cost effective. Like you don't need to spend a lot of money. You don't need to spend a lot of time. And you can make something that just tastes so good and is so filling and heartwarming, especially during this season. It's starting to get a little bit colder and you want some more comforting, hearty dishes.
absolutely,
It's a perfect alternative.
absolutely. So what I want to show you, I just add a little bit of sea salt, and I love to do a little olive oil drizzle on top.
Oh, I gotta get this right.
You see that?
Look at that.
And then I'm just gonna cook it.
Okay.
We're gonna cover this and let it cook. And then I'm just gonna try to clean up my station a little bit here.
Okay.
Ready? Yeah, thank you.
So while we're cleaning, can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you do in the food space in Toronto?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to call her Lady COVID. I don't know why it's a her, but it's Lady COVID. And with Lady COVID, we've had to pivot so many times as food business owners. And it's made things challenging, but it's also challenged us to get a bit more creative as to what we want to do, how we want to do things. And so what we've been doing, so previously we used to run live brunches, all vegan brunch, ticketed events. We would have live entertainment, DJ, and vegan marketplace so you could shop. And we had a pop-up location downtown. So we would alternate where 1 month we would do the brunch, the following month we would do a cooking class. We would alternate. And they used to all sell out all the time because we didn't charge a lot, especially for our brunches, because it was an opportunity just to educate and enlighten people of what's available that's plant-based. So we did this huge buffet, and everyone was, that's vegan, that's vegan, that's vegan, that's vegan. And so we just wanted to expose our guests to the multitude of delicious plant-based food without restricting the mind or restricting them. And so what would normally happen is, then I want to know how to cook this dish. What is your next class?
Got you.
I want to know how to cook this dish, right? So, and a lot of our clientele also wasn't plant-based, but they love food. And I think that's really important. If you love
good food, made with love, made with care, that's quality, then you're going to enjoy cooking. And I know for some people they don't really enjoy it. They look at it like a chore. But I promise when you start cooking and making some of the food that you'll be making, your mind will change. And cooking, in my perspective, or having food awareness or knowing how to take care of yourself, it's just like swimming. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, big time.
Can't do anything without it. Those
Yeah.
who've gone off to school know this.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to cook and you're on your own, you can't Uber it all the time. Your bank account will be at zero. You won't have anything to Uber. So
It's important to actually know these things, but it's even beyond that. It's your culture. You're preserving your culture.
absolutely. And so for us, with Chicpeas, it's really international vegan cuisine with an East African twist.
Ooh,
Because it would be
okay.
so difficult. I love food and I enjoy food so much. It would be difficult for me to just stay doing one culture only. Because there's so much that we draw from here in the city or globally as far as the type of foods that we cook, the type of ingredients that we choose. And it speaks a lot to the diversity in this city, but also just like we're both Haitian people, and it's like I know about this, Aiden might not know about this.
Yeah.
Aiden will know about something that I don't know about. But although we're Abyssinians, different regions have different practices, different spices, different ingredients. So with this particular piece with Black Foodie, that's what I love about it, because everyone can benefit and try it out.
Yeah, everybody has room to grow and to learn. You surprised me because I didn't think I was going to learn something new. I thought I'd just get a reminder, and I actually learned some new stuff today.
Yeah,
And it looks and smells so good.
Yeah, this is gonna be Mamma Mia. Okay.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Great. And so usually I like to lower the temperature and just let it slowly finish off at the end.
Okay.
But you want to check for me? Kindly? Just lower it a little bit. Okay, wait. I kept pressing something over here. I just wasn't sure. That's worse. So that's well.
Okay.
But in addition to that, we actually have some exciting news to share very soon.
Ooh.
I will let you know about it really soon.
Okay.
Really, really soon. But I think with COVID, we've just continued to do it with our meal plans, or we've been doing a lot of corporate cooking workshops online, like team building workshops. We've done some for TikTok, we've done some for
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That's
I was
amazing.
like, how did you hear about us? Oh, we somebody and somebody and somebody. Quite a bit of referrals. So we've done for TikTok, we've done for oh my gosh, not Instagram. I'm so sorry. We've done it for a few places and other community organizations, just teaching people how to eat healthier, especially during the pandemic, because people just a lot of people put on a lot of weight because you're looking for comfort in uncertain times.
Yeah.
So we eat. Comfort ourselves, and it's important to understand the relationship between food and our situations, our circumstances, and mental health. All these pieces are really connected. And I know yesterday was the official start date of this. If you're not vaccinated, you can't go certain places. That's going to affect a lot of people in a certain way, both physically, emotionally, and in their state of mind. So we have to figure out different ways that we can support each other. And I have to say, Black Foodie Week.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You have grown this network. You ladies and your team has grown this network tremendously. It's beautiful to see when I can get on and see shoot or being made. I'm like, oh, we've made it. We've landed.
Right.
Because the Irish community is a small community in Canada. What's beautiful with social media is that people all over the world get to see. It's like they know you before they get to meet you. And so it's beautiful in that way. So yeah, a lot of that. The cooking classes we still do online. We'll have one coming up. We just relaunched our new website.
Ooh, okay.
So you can do everything on the website. Chicpeasveg.com. If that's okay, I'll plug it in.
Yeah,
CHIC, no K. Yeah.
Oh, no K.
No
Okay.
K.
No K.
So no K. Chic Peas Veg, or you can say Chicpeasveg, but no.com, no K. I have to say that. We have some cooking classes coming up next month, near the end of next month. Just again, fall, hearty, delicious, immune boosting dishes that you will enjoy. What else do we have going on? I think it's kind of just we're figuring our way out of this.
I think that, it's an interesting time. We all know this, but the good thing is we got Instagram, we've got Facebook, and you can follow Chicpeasveg on all of those platforms. We're going to comment below all of the links to her her business. So you can go ahead and get your meal prep on, sign up for a class, maybe introduce it to your company so that you can come and train your network. You know, you guys want to have good food at your next potluck, right? So
I don't even know if we're gonna be able to do potlucks anymore, but
hopefully,
yeah,
hopefully
even
one day.
online stuff, like a lot of virtual team building or cooking sessions.
Mhm.
Actually, I just wanted to mention, I know when we did for TikTok, we traveled as far as Hamilton to deliver injera, berbere, shura, and the whole kit
To everybody?
to everybody on their team.
Wow.
We went as far as Hamilton to deliver, and we had somebody that was all the way up in LA that was part of their team, but he was in LA and he was doing the class with us. He's like, I couldn't find injera in one of the shops. They sold out, but he was able to get all this stuff. So the online piece connects you globally, which is really, really great. So wherever you are, you can join us, share in the love, taste the love, and be the love, you know?
That's true.
Absolutely. So this is almost done. What I'd like to do, if that's okay with you, is just bring our rice, get our goodies together, because we're going to start plating shortly, but I want to show you what the rice looks like. Here, you can put it in. Okay. Okay, fork, yeah. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Okay. Ooh, oh my goodness, the aroma.
Ooh, this looks beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a closer look.
Yeah.
Right here, check it out.
So
This is beautiful. And it was so fast.
super fast. Once you soak it, it does wonders. Look at that. You see how much?
Wow.
Gotcha.
It's so fluffy. It's like it's it's an individual grain. She's speaking in Tigrinya right now. That's how good it is right now.
Oh my gosh, you see that? It's like kind of fluff it. It's not sticky. It's
Yeah.
not too much water. It has to know. Look at that. Just gentle. Look at that.
Very nice.
But it's the color, the aroma, and then you can add some parsley or cilantro on top if you like.
Nice. Very nice.
Look at this. Ooh, so that looks amazing.
You guys gotta check it out.
Okay. And so what we're going to start doing, I'm going to get you to taste it from the end, and if you don't mind, I'm going to get you to taste our molokhia. I have a spoon here for you.
Okay, perfect.
And you can tell me what it needs. Remember to season and taste.
Oh, you got it? Okay, perfect.
The spoons, right?
Okay, this is my first time, folks, so this is a true, real taste test. It smells very good, okay. Wow.
I always say that. And
No, this is really good. It actually doesn't need more of anything. If anything, okay, the only thing is, because I like everything spicy, I put like a jalapeno pepper. Is
Yeah,
that normal?
you can, no, but you can.
Okay.
See? Eden was present.
Mm-hmm.
So you add your own flavors. Or you can add more berbere as well, but you can add jalapeno as well. Because the jalapeno also has a nice flavor. It's not as spicy, but it has spice. But it's not as spicy as, let's say, a Thai chili, for example. But it still gives you that little punch. And I don't cook with a lot of salt, so I'm not sure what the salt is.
No, but this is actually very well seasoned. I think the better that had some salt in it because
just a bit.
perfect.
Because then I did a little bit of salt earlier, just with our onions when we were sautéing our onions. So this is fabulous. We're gonna plate it because you can eat this with injera, you can eat it with rice, like I said, you can eat it with provisions. For those who don't know what provisions are, they're ground foods, so things like sweet potato, cassava, yam, eddos, green banana, green plantain, all of that, you can eat that. I would just say take a smaller portion because the combination of this dish and that is very filling. And we'll have some injera that we have aside. You can eat it with pita if you like. I mean, the choices and the possibilities are absolutely endless. We just wanted to give you a little something to play around with to get the wheels turning.
I love it. You know, when I was a kid, there's a dish, an East African dish called hamli, which is, it's like the greens that are sauteed. And as a little kid, I hated it. You know, like every kid, they don't want greens. And now I crave it, and this is actually better to me than hamli. I love the spices and stuff.
Yeah. And what you can also do, like you want to play around, add potato in there.
Oh,
If you like. If you don't want legumes and you just want molokhia, you can add potatoes. If you can't find molokhia in the stores that we mentioned earlier, you can also do frozen spinach, thaw it out, remove all the liquid, like all the excess water, and then add it to this dish. Otherwise, again, molokhia, jewels of mallow is what it's called in English. Similar to callaloo, except it's not as slimy. Callaloo is a bit hardier of a leaf, but you can find it at some no-fill stores. You can find it Middle Eastern and Somali shops. I promise you, you'll enjoy it, and because it comes frozen, you keep it in your freezer, you take it out, put it in cold water for a little while, and then it thaws out. You're ready to cook it and enjoy a delicious meal. Okay?
Love it.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm
All
ready.
right, let's plate our meal.
Okay.
Maybe
We'll
we'll
do
do
one-
one.
get a little
Should we do
closer.
one with rice? Yeah, we'll do one with rice and maybe one with injera. I'll get my super assistant to pass me the injera
Okay.
and our veggies kindly.
Awesome. This is gonna be a beautiful meal. Oh, I need to make my rice like this. Like I have never prepared such like a beautiful pot of rice, and now you inspired me. For real.
And it's funny because everyone asks. I remember being, in university days and somebody saying, I burn water. And I didn't understand that.
I
I wasn't
understand.
sure. I was like, what did you say? And they would say, I burn water. And I didn't get it. Just because, for us in our culture, we've been cooking a long, long time. I'm just going to switch with you for a second.
Okay,
And
yeah,
you
bye.
come kindly. Let's put some of our greens here.
So now we've got the injera. So if you guys look at this, this is a flatbread that is made with a grain called teff. And it is super nutritious, and if it's 100% teff, then it is 100% gluten-free as well. So if you want something a bit on the healthier side, it also has a nice flavor too. I love teff injera.
Yeah, it's really nice texture. Now the thing with teff that people need to know, we don't need to say it's organic or to say certified organic. Teff is naturally organic.
Yep.
How it is produced and cultivated and harvested or planted and harvested, it's organic. I know there's some politics around that, which I'll leave it at that point. So I have some green bell peppers that I just like to chop up roughly and put it at the end when the dish is done. So it keeps its texture. It still becomes a bit, still crunchy. Gotcha. And then, but the flavor will change. So when you taste it, you're going to taste the difference.
I'm excited. Huh?
Yeah, and we do a quick little close-up.
Yeah,
of this
I got
too.
you. Here we go. Sorry. Now you guys can check it out. So the greens have gone in there. We've got the bell peppers in there. And it's nice and thick.
Yeah, this dish is done. It's a perfect dish for this season. And what's ahead? Very true, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do is, so if you do make it spicy, remember to just balance it out a little bit. Although it is green, and you can say, well, I have my veggies, I have my greens, and that's well. But it's good to also add some balance and hydration and also a balance in flavor. So if it's spicy, you want something like a cucumber that's very cooling but also very hydrating, because we know that a cucumber contains a lot of liquid. Now, arugula has its own type of spice, which I love, so we add it regardless if it's spice on top of spice. So I'm just going to show you what we're going to do here. Let's get my serving. Yeah. There's two if you have those. Look at this rice here. I love when rice does this. So it's important after you make your rice, once the water has evaporated, remove it from the heat, remove the pot and let it sit on one of your burners that's off. Let it cool down for a moment, because that's what allows the rice to just settle and becomes really nice and fluffy and light. Okay? Okay, beautiful. That one's actually perfect for that one. And then we'll use some rice.
Okay, this is a whole feast.
Right?
Yes, I was expecting like one thing, and she brought a feast and options and gluten-free and flavorful rice. I love this.
I have to do that because I remember being plant-based and vegan, and you go places and you have nothing to eat. But they're like, oh, we have salad. Oh, we have cucumbers. Yeah, if you're lucky, you get rice. You get rice, maybe if you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do one thing.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Can I get you to?
Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
close-up ready. Okay, so we've got the
This.
stew,
Yeah,
we've got the
correct.
scratches.
This.
Just want you guys to get a nice little view of this, okay? Check it out. Ooh, yay.
Now look at this baby here. Look at this. So again, you can add fresh veggies, parsley, cilantro, whatever you like. And what I like to do is just take a nice little spoon or two and put it right on top.
You guys, we need smell-o-vision. So you
Yeah,
guys
we
can
do,
smell
but
this.
I'm afraid of what else might come with that. That's just, I've been saying this for so long. I'm like,
Yeah.
now look at this. So what we want to do is just add some color, right?
Here we go. Okay.
We can add some fresh arugula. And with arugula, you don't need to season it at all. If you do want to season it, squeeze of lemon. That's it. It already has that peppery flavor. We're going to do some cucumbers.
Oh, look at this. This is art. You see? This is why we need Chef Naza.
So you just want to plate it nicely because food has to look proper.
Yeah.
That's we eat with our eyes. You got it. Look at that. So there's one. And then what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna put a couple of injeras. I'm gonna put them just on the side here.
Okay, so we've got a couple of options here. So she's shown us this with the rice, but then also there's the injera option as well.
Yes.
So we'll go ahead and see this.
We're gonna do
I'm gonna just showcase it. Okay.
that all the same.
And traditionally, like in Sudan, how would it be served?
So we would eat it with a pita, and they have something similar to an injera that's very, very thin. To be honest, I can't remember what we used to call it. It's been so long. It's been so long. But it's really thin, and we used to make it. We would make it on mogogo, the same thing that we would make injera in our big plate oven.
Mhm.
And it's really thin, and you would just eat it. It's so similar when I think about it now to West Africans.
Yeah.
You know, they like the fufu.
Yeah. And the way it's like the swallow.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it just also has that sliminess
Yes.
kind of to it. For some people, it's like,
So for
but
some
once
people
you
it's
taste
off-putting,
it, the texture, yeah.
but it's actually really
Once you
good.
eat it, yeah, it's absolutely delicious. Like the amount of iron that's in here,
Mhm.
and then what we'll do is just put some here.
Okay, okay, so right on the side. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at that, folks.
And then we balance it out.
With the cucumber, okay.
There we go. What do you think?
I'm so impressed.
You're like, can we
Yes.
just get to the good?
Yeah, I'm ready. Well, I already tasted it, but I
Yeah.
can't wait to
But
taste
you
it with the
can't
rice,
exactly
you know?
the combination. So
Yeah.
let me just, I think what I'll do. And if you want, we have some avocados. So if you want to add more fat, ladies, would you like some avocados?
I would.
Yeah,
I'm down.
because you're
Yeah.
gonna eat.
I love avocado. I put it on my full. I
Yeah,
also make
me
an
too.
avocado salad with injera. So
with everything.
Yeah.
Avocado's just like the thing that goes with everything, which is great.
yeah.
Do you know that in Eritrea we didn't have we had avocado, but it used to come from Ethiopia.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't grow up eating avocado. I
Yeah.
only started eating avocado maybe 5-6 years ago.
Wow.
And that was through my best friend, but now I'm just,
I can't
I
believe
know
we
life
didn't have
without
it
it.
from there.
we
Yeah.
didn't, but when he used to come from Ethiopia, so
Yeah.
don't worry, I know some of you know what I'm doing when I'm just chopping up with my knife. You don't need a cutting board all the time.
Yep. Hey,
But,
when you know your stuff, you
you
know
know
your
what I
stuff. Yeah.
And also, you don't always have access to a cutting board. I think I see a lot of my Caribbean friends do that, cut everything in their hand.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take, and try not to destroy my avocado. It's a pet peeve when it falls apart.
Oh.
Try to keep the. It's okay. Ma'alesh means it's all good in Arabic, so it's in the
Nice.
spirit of our Sudanese people.
I love it.
Let's do
This is beautiful. The freshness of the greens.
Right.
And then the cucumber, and it's kind of like refreshing as well. And then you've got that hearty stew with the Molokhia.
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 Yeah.
Man, you guys, please don't diss my pronunciation. I'm learning today.
It's all good. It's all good. That's what life is. We get to learn and experience different things and learn different things, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Let me move the rice out of the way.
I'm somebody who loves this kind of consistency and texture. Like I'm the person who's like bring on the slime, and I love okra, and I love the stews, like the West African stews. I enjoy eating it with the fufu. So I love gat, which is another thing that's kind of like it's texture. It's a texture thing.
Yeah.
So when you're eating these dishes,
Fufu, right?
huh?
Yeah, it's similar to fufu in a way.
Very similar, yeah. So it's kind of gummy and it's like it's soft and it's not everybody's cup of tea, but once you get used to it, you start to enjoy it, and it's kind of it goes down smoother with like the spiciness of the stew. So I really like it because it reminds me of gat, which is what my grandma used to make, and it's something that you would make for if somebody's pregnant or they had a baby. Like there's dishes that come with different occasions, so that's something that would be made at that time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an everyday thing, but this is beautiful. Okay, now I gotta do a
So
little
glad.
close up.
Yeah.
for you
Now
guys.
let's
Okay.
do a little bit.
I'm gonna just show you guys a little setup right here. We've got the two different versions. We've we've got the injera spread. Look at this. Ooh. Wow, you did your thing. You really did your thing.
What do you think? You like it?
Yeah, and the thing that like really impressed me is that it was really like not that long, you know, and it's so flavorful and there's like different layers to it. You would see this and think this is complicated, but like you've shown us like a really simplified way to do it and a plant-based way to do it too.
Absolutely, and this is a great way to get your greens in, because I know not everyone is up on their greens, because I know my family was shocked when I said I was going plant-based. They were like, you don't like many vegetables, how are you going to survive? And now they're in awe and in shock that I eat all the things that I do eat. But I love delicious food made with love, with care, food that represents my culture, but also other cultures, food that has beneficial properties, not only to my body, but also to my mind, to my spirit, to my energy. You know, we are contagious, so we have to be mindful of what we put in and surround ourselves with. So, I think we have forks here somewhere.
Yes, I'll grab you some forks.
And if you have any questions after this segment, you can always just send messages and they will be relayed to us from the Black Foodie team, all of us here. And I'll find out about it and we can directly answer your questions. And I can't wait to hear about when you're going to try these dishes.
Yeah, I think let's do a little taste test on screen.
Okay, let's do that.
And which one would you? I think I'm gonna go for the rice version.
I think that's good. Okay,
Yeah?
I'm going to try with the injera. How about that?
So I just want to, and before you do that, I'm gonna just take it up just a little bit
Yeah.
closer because I want you guys to see this.
How about, yeah, let's try
Check
that.
it out.
I was ready to dive in. So let's-
Okay, so you guys can see this. This is beautiful. You guys have just gotten a taste of Sudan by way of Eritrea, and it's so flavorful.
Voila. The same Molokhia, but we're doing it with injera. You can also enjoy it with pita, quinoa, provisions as we mentioned, whatever you like. Get more plants in your diet.
So for everybody, before I dive in, I just wanted to thank you guys for joining Black Foodie Week. We still got more programming coming. You know, if you want to catch some of the replays, you can go onto our Facebook page and then watch the videos. We did a really dope panel on veganism, so I think that if you enjoyed this, you would enjoy that one. Then we have a website that is dedicated to Black Foodie Week where you can enter your postal code and find Black restaurants in your neighborhood. So there's ways to support Black businesses all week long. And of course, we would love to hear from you guys. So if you guys are supporting Black businesses or if you guys are gonna go check out Naza's, catering, tag us, let us know that you've tried it. We wanna hear from you and we're so excited to have you guys as part of Black Foodie Week. But I'm gonna stop talking because I really wanna taste this,
So while you're tasting, I want to take the time to thank you.
Thank you.
Eden and Elle and the Black Foodie team and platform. Thank you so much for inviting us to partake in this occasion, but also thank you for being is the word I'm looking for, being a ninja. I think that's appropriate. Being a ninja in supporting Black-owned food businesses, but Black-owned businesses period, but more specifically food businesses, because it's important for us to get ourselves through some doors by promoting one another, because otherwise you may not know about it. The whole world takes little pieces of our culture and our food and incorporates it in their own businesses, but not always give the credit where it's due as far as giving the credit back to the indigenous cultures it comes from, and in this case more specifically Black-owned businesses. So thank you so much for inviting us to be here. This has been a pleasure and an honor, and I'm so elated that we could be here. Thank you so much for all that you do and for this whole week. And I have a whole bunch of videos to watch of all the other stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
Checking. Okay,
I'll
so
send it to you. Okay.
please, all right, so we're gonna dive in.
Moment of truth, and thank you so much, Naza, for those kind words. I'm ready.
Absolutely, here we go.
Got the rice.
We got the rice.
Wow.
Mhm.
It's even more flavorful with the rice. Wow, wow, wow.
Right, the combination
Love it.
because of all the seasoning that's in the rice and the
Mm.
Molokhia. You can also add the cumin to the rice. You can add anisi, like just your rice taste. Let it represent you. Let it add some flavor, some spunk, some color. Turmeric does the trick while it's still helping you stay healthy during this particular season and the one coming.
Yeah, this is super nourishing.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're gonna go and eat the rest of this food, but I'll see you guys at the next panel. Peace.